So one of the questions I get the most is, what are the differences between eXp Realty and Real Broker? So I broke down 7 things that you need to be aware of if you're looking at possibly making a move to Real Broker or eXp Realty, because both brokerages have very good things in their own right, but they are different. Although they both are cloud-based brokerages, the models do tend to differ in multiple different ways. So we're gonna break that down so you're fully informed so you can make the best decision. Now, in full disclosure, I am an agent with Real Broker, and it has been a wild ride, a fun ride for me over the past 16 months that I've been with Real Broker after being in the real estate industry for 18 years, 3 other brokerages along those 18 years. I don't like to move a lot when I'm with a brokerage. So making the move from my previous brokerage that I was with for 12 years was a big deal, one that I did not take lightly. I did my research, like you should as well. And so watching this video is a huge step forward to knowing exactly the differences, pros and cons of both Real Broker versus eXp Realty. The first thing to discuss are the fees and the splits. Now, every brokerage has fees and splits to an extent, right? So that is very important that we cover these things and you know exactly the differences between Real and eXp. So let's start with eXp Realty. To start off with, they have a $149 startup fee. They do have an $85 a month cloud brokerage fee. They have a $25 transaction review fee, and they have a $40 risk management fee, otherwise known as E&O insurance, that caps when you pay in $500 towards that risk management fee for the year, which equates to closing about 12 and a half deals for the year. Now let's talk about the split. The split is on a 80-20 split, meaning 20% goes to the company for every transaction closed until the agent caps. The cap is $16,000 for the year for an individual agent or a team lead, and a half cap at $8,000 a year for an agent who is on a team within eXp Realty. Now, both brokerages have a status that an agent wants to try to achieve, because this is where you really get some good bonuses, especially when it comes to the stock awards. For eXp, it's known as the Icon Award. Now, with the Icon Agent Award, the agent has to cap at $16,000 a year, plus pay in $5,000 as well of transaction fees, because every transaction fee does have a $250 transaction fee attached to it that you have to pay in until you cap at $5,000 for the year. Then any transactions you close before your next anniversary year resets will just drop down to $75 a transaction. Now, eXp also has something called the Mega Icon Agent. Now, this is an award where the team lead has to cap at $16,000, and the rest of the team's agents collectively have to pay in another $40,000 for a total of $56,000 to the company to have the icon status be achieved. Now, conversely, let's transition over to Real and go over their fees. Real has a one-time startup fee of $249. It has no monthly fees. Now, this is huge because if you're having a bad month, 2 or 3, and you don't close any transactions, this is huge because you don't pay any fees for just having your license trying to make that next deal work. It has a $30 BOP fee, which stands for broker review, E&O, and processing fee. So really your risk management, your E&O, is $30 a transaction. Their splits are cheaper. They're at 85-15, meaning 15% of the transaction goes to the company until you cap. And the caps are lower as well. The cap for a team lead or an individual agent is $12,000 a year, and the half cap is at $6,000 a year. Now, if you are a team that grosses over $100 million a year in production, then you can actually have your agents be on a $4,000 cap each year, making it even more affordable for those agents to come over and do business at Real Brokerage. Now, for Real, the magic happens for the agent when they make the Elite Agent Award. What that is an award that you earn when you cap and pay in an additional $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees only. Now, there are no transaction fees when you close a deal prior to your cap with Real, but after you cap, then you pay a $285 transaction fee for each closing. Now, the transaction fee does go towards your elite agent status. So if you do about 21 transactions after you cap at $285 a transaction, that equals about $6,000. So in that situation, you make the Elite Agent Award and the company gives you $16,000 of Real stock back to you. Now, being the fact the stock is fairly low right now, you can accumulate a lot of shares by earning this award and the other stock awards that we'll get into in just a second. And with Real, when you make the Elite Agent Award, you can actually earn an additional $8,000 of real stock above and beyond the $16,000 for a total of $24,000 they will give back to you if you then choose to teach in Real Academy, one class every month for the course of a year, so 12 classes, or if you get approved by the company, some sort of huge charitable event or philanthropic event that you put on that the company approves, that they will then give you the $8,000 for the Culture Award. So you can earn it by doing something culturally with charity or by teaching in Real Academy once a month. All right, the second thing is future growth. Now this is huge, and this is one that a lot of people just don't talk about very much, but yet it's so commonplace in my opinion. Now with future growth, one of those things is leadership. Now with eXp, you have a trailblazer named Glenn Sanford who did a great job bringing this cloud-based model to the marketplace and then building this company from basically nothing all the way up to about 90,000 agents. eXp has grown tremendously under his leadership, so Glenn Sanford is a very good leader. And on the other hand, Real's CEO is Tamir Poleg. Tamir is a phenomenal CEO, and he has brought on as well a president named Sharon Servista. Sharon has done so and now has brought all of his expertise, all of the things that he uses when he mentors CEOs, and given it out to all the Real agents. And the company has grown tremendously since that has taken place. Sharon's leadership is unparalleled, and I think Real is going to grow tremendously fast because of his and Tamir's leadership. Also part of Tamir's leadership is hiring Pritesh. Now Pritesh is our CTO, and we'll talk about tech in just a second, but Real owns all their own technology. They don't buy it, they don't white label it, they actually built it and they own all of it, which gives Real a tremendous advantage over any of its competitors. But arguably the biggest thing, but also the simplest thing about future growth might be what's right in front of us, and that is the sheer numbers. Now eXp has done a great job of growing its company over the years. It was started in 2009 and bringing it to market and then growing it over the years. They've done a great job. They're at 90,000 agents approximately across America and the world. But the question begs, how much more can it grow in America, and therefore how fast? If you have a captive audience of real estate licensees to about 1.3 to 1.4 licensees across America, and you look at the largest company at one point that ballooned to about 180,000 agents, which is Keller Williams when it comes to agent count, they have shown what a brokerage can get to. Yet they're starting to decline in their numbers, and a lot of people are starting to go, frankly, to these cloud-based brokerages like eXp and Real. So could eXp get to 180,000 agents? It probably could. I think anything's possible, yet the growth from a 90,000 agents to 120 or 150,000 agents, if it ever gets there, will be much slower than it is at a brokerage that's growing very fast. That's at 15,000 agents. It just is. That's how it works, especially when you have a limited pool of people that could be in that company on that specific platform, i.e. people who hold a real estate license. So all I'm submitting to you is that if you look at eXp from like 2017, 18 through 2022, they had a run. I mean, they grew pretty fast, pretty quick. So kudos to them. That's awesome. I think Real Broker is now set up for a run like that here very soon, in which the next 3 to 5 years, they will have potentially a run like that. And if they have a run like that, then it is a lot easier to grow as a company in whole when you have that kind of a run over a 3 to 5 year period like eXp did. But at some point, that's going to top off and start to go into what the industry kind of calls a maintenance mode. And so is eXp in that right now? I don't know. They could continue to grow, but I do know it's probable for a smaller company that is growing very quickly to achieve a certain metric of, say, 30,000 agent count growth as compared to a larger company who is now trying to grow 30,000 more agents. So the timing is probably very good with Real Broker as compared to eXp, which how much more can it grow? And a company like eXp or Real Broker for that matter does have to grow over time for the benefits to really start to kick in, like revenue share or stock growth. Stock price is probably not going to grow as much or as fast if the company is not growing in and of itself. So as simple and obvious as that seems, I think that's a big aspect in the fact that there's much more opportunity for growth when it comes to the financial aspect of stock and revenue share with a company that's growing faster currently and has the capacity to grow much faster because it's just by nature much smaller at this time. Okay, the third thing is the stock program. Now both companies are publicly traded on the NASDAQ, which is great because they can give bonuses and stock awards to their agents for performing in certain manners. So let's jump into eXp Realty's stock program. Now with eXp, you can actually take 5% of your commission of a closed transaction, and eXp will then give you a 10% discount on their stock for the amount that equaled that 5%. So essentially you're able to buy the stock at 10% discount. And then they have 3 other stock awards. They will give $200 in eXp stock for the agent's first closing. They will give $400 out to the agent for capping, and they will give $400 out to the agent when they bring over their first agent and that agent closes their first deal. Now, all of these stock awards have a 3-year vesting schedule for eXp. So they cannot take the stock and do anything with it for a period of 3 years after they've been with the company. Also, they have something called the Icon Award, in which they will give an agent up to $16,000 in eXp stock if they cap and have $5,000 of transaction fees paid in for the year. Now, when the agent earns that icon status, they still have to do several things. They have to attend corporate events that are eligible, in which they can receive a certain percentage of that $16,000 towards eXp stock, and or a combination of that and Google meetups when they get online and have a mastermind with other certain people. Then they are eligible to receive part of that $16,000 as well. So the agent does have to continue to participate in certain things after they are eligible based upon achieving that icon status. Now let's compare the Real Broker stock program. Real's stock purchase program does it a little bit different. What they do is allow you to pre-cap, contribute 5% of your commission, your closing, towards Real stock. They will match that 10%. Very similar to eXp's, but they'll match it dollar for dollar 10%. So if you put $100 towards a closing towards Real stock, they'll give you $10 free money for a total of $110 to buy your stock. Now, once you cap, then you can contribute up to 10% of your closing to buy Real stock, and they'll match that at 20%. Again, free money. Very similar to a 401k, but yet a lot better in terms of the matching. They also have a couple more stock bonuses as well. You'll receive 150 shares of Real stock when you cap, and you'll receive 75 shares when you bring over an agent and that person closes their first transaction. So if you bring a lot of people over when they close their first transaction, that could be a lot of shares that you accumulate, especially when the shares are so small at this time in terms of their dollar value. And then of course the big one is the Elite Agent. Now again, the agent to achieve this Elite Agent award has to cap $12,000 plus pay an additional $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees for a total of $18,000. Now when that happens, you also have the ability to earn the Culture/Teaching Award, in which they will give you $8,000 of Real stock back to you for just simply teaching in the academy one time a year for the period of 12 months. Pretty impressive deal. That's a total of $24,000 of Real stock paid back to you by earning the Elite Agent Award and teaching. Pretty cool deal. Next, let's talk about revenue share. Now, this is the big one where a lot of people are earning a lot of money in both companies. No question about it. And this is why so many people are attracted to the cloud-based model. So let's start with the eXps. With eXps, if you look at it, there are 7 different levels it goes down. And you have the ability to earn at every level. You can see the payouts on a percentage basis and the payouts max for each level from 1 through 5. And then 6 and 7 actually go up a little more as well. Now it's important to know that less than 0.06% of all agents with the company of eXp actually have ever hit level 7. But if you do, it can pay out very nicely. And what's also important to know are the qualifiers. As you can see, the tier 1 qualifiers, you have the eXp, you have 5 agents, 10 agents, 15, 20, 25 on level 6, and then of course 40 to unlock level 7, 40 producing agents on your line 1, that is. And that is pretty darn challenging to get. I think it's also important to know when it comes to revenue share, the max pot the company will actually share with their agents. And with eXp, that is capped at 50%. So if eXp in one given month has to share more than 50% of the revenue back to the agents, they won't. They'll be capped at 50%. And so everyone's proportionate revenue share will be deducted by that same amount across the board to make sure the company always retains 50% of the revenue for themselves. Now let's talk about Real's revenue share program. As you can see with Real's here, there are 5 different levels on a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1% payout basis. And if you notice about Real's, it's actually flipped to an extent from eXp's. The highest payouts are actually at the top because they know that the average person, whoever joins a brokerage or a model like this, will only ever recruit 3.4 people to the brokerage on average across the board. Because Real understands that the average person who ever gets into a system like this, a model where they have revenue share, will only bring over 3.4 people to the company on average. They want to make it as lucrative as possible to have those people get the highest payout there possibly is. So our EXPs kind of goes more as you get lower, and Real's actually is higher at the top and lower as you go down. So that is a big difference. You can make more money from that standpoint. In my humble opinion, if you're going to be a producing agent that's going to bring agents over here and there, you're going to make more money in Real's revenue share program. Conversely, if all you're going to do is recruit and you're going to have this huge expansive network, especially on your frontier, then EXPs could be a better program for you when it comes to revenue share. So it just depends on what you're looking to do. In that same breath, you have to take consideration for the overall shared pie. So again, as I mentioned, EXP only ever share 50% of the revenue with their agents. Real will share 60% of the revenue with their agents. So it's a bigger pie. So if you're a big revenue share earner and you know that you can actually not have any of your revenue share cut because the company will be sharing up to 60% instead of 50%, that's a big deal. That could be a big difference in terms of your proportional share of your revenue share if it goes over 50%. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% potentially being cut, and you're a big revenue share earner. That's a big deal. So I do think the jury's still out in terms of running the scenarios and numbers as to which one will pay out, even for the larger person who's recruiting a lot. Also, Real just came out with a retirement plan, which is huge. So now with Real, you can retire and still get the revenue share without having to produce or close any real estate deals. So how this works is once you've been with the company for 3 years, you will have 60% of your revenue share you're currently getting at that time continue in perpetuity forever. After 4 years, you get 80%. And after 5 years, you get 100% of the revenue share at that time to continue in perpetuity forever. And it's also willable to your heirs. You get to choose a beneficiary and it will be willable to anyone you select after your time is no longer here, it's up on earth. Someone else will continue to receive that money of your revenue share that you created. At this time, they're looking into it, but they don't think that person will have to keep a real estate license in order for that to happen. And lastly, the biggest thing that eXp doesn't currently have with their revenue share is fractional revenue share, co-sponsorship. So right now with eXp, you have to choose someone and you go down and create this big organization going up and down, which is great. Real has the same thing, but Real also has with co-sponsorship the ability to have horizontal culture and ownership and collaboration through all of the company, which is awesome. So a person joining Real can actually choose 2 people, which could be in 2 different networks, if you will, to be their sponsor. And now there's collaboration amongst those networks because one individual potentially or more connects the 2 together, which is a really good, awesome thing for culture. And that's why when Real talks about one Real, they mean that from the standpoint of agents being able to collaborate across organizations, which is a big advantage. And it allows you to almost have unlimited tiers when it comes to your revenue share. So instead of having just 5, you could have unlimited because when someone comes in and co-sponsors, it breaks off another group of 5. So you have groups of 5 tiers all over the place if you want to grow a big organization with Real Brokerage. So let's go to the next thing, the 5th thing, which is training. So right now, eXp, all their training is done in Verbella, which is their online world. So if you like to go in there and be an avatar and run around in their world and go into classes, virtual classrooms, virtual soccer fields, you can do that. That's something that you would like to do when you go enter the training mechanism. And they have a lot of training classes every single week. I think they have up to 60 to 70 courses being taught every week or 2 in that training world on different topics. That is awesome. Real also has the same type of thing. Now they don't have an avatar in a world you go into. You simply go into real.academy and there are 40 or so classes every week being taught by elite agents, people who produce and sell a lot of real estate, so that you know you're hopefully getting good instruction. And again, everything is on Zoom. It's done for the most part. There are obviously classes that are done in person, but everything is done in Zoom. So it's in your convenience or at your convenience in your home, your office, wherever you want. And you can tap into anything you want to listen to real estate related because there's a topic being taught all the time by good agents throughout the company. The next thing is the programs these companies have. Now, both cloud-based brokerages have very similar type programs. eXp has a military program, so does Real. eXp has a REO program. Right now, Real does not have that yet. eXp also has a luxury division and a commercial division, and both of those are coming here soon at Real. Real does have a private mastermind for high producing teams, the $100 million roundtable. So it has that as a group, but it also has the military group, and it has other groups as well, Women at Real, and so on and so forth. So Real is coming up with these programs that will all soon be very equal to what eXp is doing. Currently, Real has on the agenda for Q3 to launch their luxury division of 2024. And right now, commercial is right behind it to end 2024 being launched as well as an official division of Real Broker. But let's talk about commercial real quick as another aspect. Can you sell commercial real estate at Real? The answer is absolutely you can. In fact, I know that to be true because we have a commercial division within our team. It's made up of 4 brokers on my team that sell across the entire country and do a phenomenal job. Now, when we first came to Real, and then in 2022, things weren't in place specifically to have a commercial division, but yet you can still sell commercial real estate at Real. And what's great about it is the fact that all of the same fees apply. So they don't increase the cap or anything of that nature or splits just because you're selling commercial and it's a quote higher price point. So Real currently has customized all their tech on the back end and so on and so forth to be able to accommodate any commercial transactions. So we do multiple commercial transactions every single year and some really complicated high dollar ones as well in multiple different states, and it goes off without a hitch because they have customize and accommodate us for our needs that we had on the commercial side. So if you're looking to sell commercial, Real is a great place, and it's only going to get better when the official commercial division is actually formed towards the end of 2024. Now, conversely, let's look at eXp. eXp also has a commercial division, and that is $250 a month to join. And they actually increased the cap to $20,000 from $16,000 on the commercial side. So it's not a huge increase, but it is an increase in the fees, if you will, when you're joining eXp Commercial. And for that $250 a month, you do get access to some benefits like a CRM, Moody's Analytics, SkySlope for the transaction management, and things of that nature. So that's what the differences are right now, which are simply that eXp has a division formally, and Real does not, but you can absolutely sell commercial real estate at Real Broker, and it works just fine. And last but not least, let's talk about technology. On the eXp side, you have KV Core, which primarily is a tech fee, the $85 a month that you're paying to use KV Core. So you kind of have to use it or not, but either way, you have to pay that fee. It has a workplace for their intranet platform. It has SkySlope for the transaction management. They have their Showcase IDX, and they have their Verbella, which is their world that they own, that technology of walking into the world, being an avatar and going into different rooms, classrooms, etc. Now on the flip side, Real is completely different because Real owns and has built their own technology from the ground up, which gives a huge advantage because now they can build whatever they want to on top of it to provide more and more value to agents. They can pivot on a dime. They have access to all the transactional data. It is theirs, it's proprietary, and that gives a big leg up. So for transaction management and everything that people log into on the back end, it's called Rezen. Rezen tracks the revenue share, the stock, it tracks the transactions. You can communicate directly with the state broker right in the back end. It does a ton. It gives you a timeline workflow of everything that's going on, and it tracks your cap, your lead agent status, and everything in real time. Now, Real also has Workplace, which is a platform that eXp uses as well. It has Real Academy, which is its own platform for all the training that takes place and more. Everything that the company shares and does and puts out there is stored there for agents to always have access to it. Recordings of Zoom calls, classes, you name it, presentations, it's all there for everyone. Now, it also has Lofty. Now, Lofty is a new name for Chime, the CRM. Now, it doesn't automatically give Chime to everyone because there's a no monthly fee cost to the brokerage, which is awesome. So if you have your own CRM, you can use it. But if you do want to use an awesome CRM, which is Lofty, it's only $40 a month. They have a bulk rate discount because if you were to go buy that on your own as an individual in the marketplace, you're looking at $500 a month or so instead of just $40 a month with the bulk discount that you get being with Real Broker. And last but not least, you have the Real app. The Real app allows communication to run seamlessly from the back end of the state broker, your transactions, and it gives you pretty much everything that's on the Rezen technology at your fingertips that you can look at anytime you want to, which is awesome. There are a lot of insights that it shares as well, from your revenue share to your transactions and so on and so forth. So that's a big upgrade that anyone can have if you're with Real Broker. So I hope you enjoyed our video comparing two good cloud-based real estate brokerages, eXp and Real. I do believe cloud-based real estate brokerages are the wave of the future. And so maybe eXp is right for you, maybe it's Real right for you. They both are good. They both have pros and cons. So if you have any interest on the Real Broker side, please let me know. You can go to growwithrealbrokerage.com. You can email me at info@cookassociatesaz.com or simply call 480-660-5974. And I'd love to chat with you further about it at any time. You can also find me at Instagram at Kelly Cook Homes right here. Check me out. I'm an ambassador for the company and would love to chat with you further about it if you have any questions whatsoever. Hope you enjoyed the video and check out our other video we did right here on the revenue share fully explained.